First alert weather day for tomorrow morning. First big frost threat. Updates in the Weather Extra.
Thanks, Wes. Plus the latest on cleanup and recovery efforts after Hurricane Melissa. Multiple countries have been affected and the hurricane is now over the open Atlantic. Plus, when it comes to raking your yard this fall, why you may want to leave it alone.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
You heard my spooky laugh, Wes?
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed how you worked that in there. Listen, it is kind of spooky. It's been kind of spooky and gloomy out there, but we're finally starting to clear out. Now we have the chill on the way.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, we cut away from Tania, but we're going to go back over to our cameras here right now. We'll get back to Tania here in just a few moments. But a look at our camera view here across the region, and you can see the clouds are starting to thin out across the area, so we're getting set for a cold night. Lows overnight will be taking a big tumble down into the mid-30s. That's why we have a concern for frost. You know, we first told you about this days ago. We're concerned we could see patchy frost, so make sure the plants are protected. Make sure you have breathable fabric on the sensitive vegetation, and if you can bring those potted plants indoors, just keep those inside through tomorrow night, because I think early Saturday as well, that's going to be an issue. Maybe some frosty conditions to start the day, but the rest of the day tomorrow actually looks very nice. Sunshine, highs around 60 degrees, and then tomorrow night for Halloween trick-or-treating. Looks like a chill in the air, but temperatures will be cooling off into the 40s by late night. Here's the view from space. We finally got rid of all that drizzly, misty weather, just more of a nuisance, and we still need a lot more rain to really work on that drought. It was just light precipitation, and with the wind today, that's going to quickly evaporate all that moisture away, but the clouds are thinning out. I think the wind speeds improve some tomorrow. I saw some of my neighbors out there with a leaf blower today just battling the breeze, but the wind should hopefully back off a little bit, help you out tomorrow if you want to do a little leaf yard cleanup before all the kiddos arrive tomorrow evening to trick or treat. But again, in the morning, a cold start, just bundle up out there. The sun will be back in full force tomorrow, so that should help us with those comfort levels too. Again, this is mostly an issue with the frost, 3 o'clock until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So again, for tomorrow evening, Friday night, and not just for trick-or-treating, games happening, events going on, festivals, looks like by 8 to 10 o'clock we go from low 50s to 40s, but again, we will see some 30s on the map, I think, as we go early in the day on Saturday. And speaking of Saturday, for some of the college games happening, if you're traveling, make sure you have the WBRC weather app. It works wherever you are, but you'll get those updates, but you shouldn't have any issues, UAB fans, at UConn. Temperatures in the 50s with sunshine. Some cold nights expected, of course. Auburn at Kentucky at Auburn down on the plains. University of Kentucky, it's going to be chilly there. You can see by the end of the game temperatures down into the 40s, but right now looks like a dry Saturday night down on the plains. But we will keep you well informed. Right now, though, one of the big stories this week, we've had the World Series, Tania, so we really haven't had a chance to really dive in here on the Weather Extra with Melissa, but that has been a historic system.
Yeah, and Wes, now it's time to talk about the recovery efforts and the aftermath. It's been 2 days since Hurricane Melissa devastated Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane with winds of 185 miles per hour. Now, cleanup underway, but it's very challenging. Jamaica wasn't the only country affected by the storm. As Jeff Paul tells us, there was also significant damage in Cuba and in Haiti.
A race to provide relief after Hurricane Melissa leaves dozens of people dead and widespread destruction across Cuba, Haiti, and Jamaica. In Florida, volunteers packed emergency kits with basic goods and hygiene supplies to send to affected areas.
Given the magnitude of this storm, we're not quite sure what we're going to find.
It's aid that's badly needed, especially in western Jamaica, where officials are describing the damage as catastrophic. Melissa made landfall as a Category 5 hurricane, toppling trees, power lines, destroying homes, and washing away roadways.
Individuals have lost total of every single thing.
More than half the island remains without power. Tens of thousands are now staying in shelters, and officials warn recovery won't be easy, as flooding and damage is still being assessed, along with the number of dead and missing.
It's a wreck. Lots of houses been wrecked. Lots of family been outside, nowhere to sleep, no food to eat. We just hope and pray for the best.
A similar scene in eastern Cuba, where strong winds and floodwaters collapsed homes.
Life is the most important thing. The rest will come as life brings.
Meanwhile, in southern Haiti, where many were already struggling living in tents and makeshift homes, flooding is still a problem. Officials say rushing waters from an overflowing river killed more than 24 people, and that number could rise in the coming days. Despite the government shutdown, the State Department says U.S. aid is on its way, with a senior state official telling Fox a disaster team will arrive in Jamaica in the coming days. Jeff Paul, Fox News.
All right, time for our First Alert Weather headlines, and we have a First Alert Weather day for frost tomorrow morning. That will expire at 9 o'clock. Dry and chilly for trick-or-treating tomorrow evening. Slight weekend rain chance. I know if you checked in with us yesterday, it looked like maybe a better chance of rain Sunday. Models are really struggling on this one here, but we see a system. The question is, where does it become better organized? East of Alabama or right over Alabama? So right now we're factoring in a lower rain chance. Not a washout by any means, but do know there's a chance of showers in the weekend forecast. More comfy days, though, coming up next week. I promise you we're not just going full blast winter right now. I know it's cold tonight, but we will have some decent fall weather coming back. It looks like next week some afternoon highs back into the 70s. But as we look ahead again this evening, bundle up out there. It won't take long. We'll be in the 40s around the area, especially by 9, 10 o'clock tonight. Patchy frost in the morning. Lots of sunshine other than the cold start during the day tomorrow. One of the nicer days of the week, actually. We'll have sunshine, afternoon highs in the 60s. But again, those temperatures for the evening will drop off fairly quickly. But we'll talk more about your weekend. We'll have the 10-day forecast. And, of course, Tania, you'll be taking us beyond the 10-day.
Absolutely, Wes, but let's take you back to the tropics. Hurricane Melissa, one of the most crucial parts of hurricane forecasting, is actually gathering the data about the storm. That falls to the brave pilots and the crew of hurricane hunters. And as you can imagine, some of the rides into the storm can get a bit hairy. This is a video from inside a WP-3D nicknamed Kermit as the crew flew directly into Hurricane Melissa's eye wall on Tuesday. The data gathered about the storm on flights like this is crucial for accurate hurricane forecasting. As you can see in the video, the crew experienced extreme turbulence as it made its way from the eye to the outer part of the storm. Fortunately, no one was hurt. A recon flight into Melissa by one of the C-130s from the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron from Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi, had to be cut short after the plane experienced extreme turbulence. And after flying into the eye, the crew found the best way out and headed back to one area, Curacao, so the C-130 could undergo a safety inspection due to the nature of the turbulence. And as if you needed an excuse to enjoy the cooler temperatures this fall, what new research is showing about the benefits of going for a long walk and how it could significantly cut your risk of one disease by 2/3.
Explore the wonders of weather with Weather in the Classroom. Scan the QR code now to help your kids soar to new heights with Soar with 6.
We have been forecasting a very mild Halloween, and we are less than 24 hours away. Temperatures tomorrow should be in the low 60s during the day, but it got me thinking, what was the coldest temperature ever recorded on a Halloween day? Well, Birmingham has seen 29 along with Tuscaloosa back in 1917. That was the coldest temperature ever recorded on Halloween itself. 1955, 29 degrees in Tuscaloosa, and 27 is the temperature in Anniston from 1955. Now, the coldest afternoon, so those temperatures probably happened either really early in the morning or right before the 1st of November, but the coldest afternoon ever recorded on a Halloween day, 42 degrees, Birmingham from 1993. And look, 93 was a cold year all around. Tuscaloosa saw 44 during that afternoon, and then 43 from 1993 as well for that coldest day on Halloween. Now, as far as the flip side of that goes, the warmest temperature ever recorded on Halloween, pretty interesting, 87 degrees in Birmingham in 2016. And that year broke the records also for Tuscaloosa and Anniston. Tuscaloosa saw 88 along with Anniston. So 63 doesn't sound too bad. We're several degrees right below where we should be. Average temperature right on Halloween this time of year is 70 degrees. We'll talk much more about the forecast for the weekend ahead as Weather Extra continues.
Thanks, Megan. Here's a great reason to get outside and enjoy some of these cooler temperatures. Walking for just 10 to 15 minutes at a time drops your risk of cardiovascular disease up to 2/3. That's compared to those who walk less than 5 minutes. An international team of researchers found sustained walking gives you stronger heart protection, including lowering the risk of death and issues like strokes or heart attacks. The study's co-lead author said the research shows simple and small changes to your health can have really big impacts. And look at the beautiful fall colors, or really look at the beautiful colors of the fall leaves. It's a tradition for a lot of people like myself, but raking those leaves once they fall is a choice not many people enjoy doing. Now, one expert is saying it's a task you may be able to omit from your to-do list. Tanya J. Powers explains.
This back-breaking chore could become a thing of the past. And no, it's not a task being taken over by AI.
I don't know too many people that are excited about raking leaves, but we're going to save on labor.
Many think the best method is to rake the leaves, bag them up, and haul them to the curb. But Virginia Tech professor and turfgrass specialist Mike Goatley says there's a better way, by simply mulching leaves with a lawnmower and leaving them.
Cut the grass, but also chop these leaves up and continue to do that throughout the fall. And those leaves will continue to get smaller and smaller. The smaller they are, the more quickly they're going to be degraded by the microbes in the soil.
It seems counterintuitive, but
it's going to build up the carbon in your soil. And that organic matter is ultimately going to make for a healthier soil for both your grass plants and all those microbes that are living there.
This less traditional process will not only leave you with a better looking lawn, it's also helping the environment at the same time.
Ultimately, what we're really trying to do is make sure that people don't put these things in bags that end up going to the landfill, because once they're in a bag, they're not going to go to a recycling or a composting facility, and that's taking up extremely valuable space that otherwise should be reserved for the serious trash.
Another growing environmental issue stemming from lawn care, gas-powered leaf blowers.
The main issues with the gas-powered blowers have been air quality and noise pollution,
prompting more than 200 cities, counties, and even some entire states to enact full or partial bans or restrictions on their use. In New York, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Yeah, I don't think we won't have to worry about AI taking that job over for a while. Hey, as we take a note of what's going on out there with the sunset time, 5:56 today, and this weekend, of course, we told you about the time change, so it'll be 4:53 on Sunday. Live look from Nectar, it's 50 degrees, temperature dropping quickly. Still a little bit of a breeze here on Straight Mountain and Appalachian School. That wind should settle down later on tonight, showing mid-50s. A little bit of a glow still showing up in the sky there over Gardendale from 8 Air Tire, and in Tuscaloosa, we got a nice little sky out there this evening, but chill is in the air tonight. It is going to be cold. Mentioned this weekend, Sunday morning, as we fall back the annual end to the daylight saving time. So a good reminder, if you haven't done so already, as we go into fall, one thing that makes this region of the country so unique is we have two active severe weather seasons, or peak severe weather seasons, and one of those coming up late November and in December. So always a good reminder to test the batteries, check the batteries in your NOAA weather radios. You want to have those nearby. Still can't beat good old NOAA NOAA Weather Radio, AM/FM radio, and of course live television when it comes to severe weather alerts. First alert weather day coming up for tomorrow morning, and 3 a.m. to 9 o'clock for the first big threat of frost. And make sure the plants are protected tonight. I had to bring some of those in earlier today. It's already been kind of chilly out there, especially if you have tropical plants and palms, things like that. Want to make sure that they're protected. As we look ahead tonight, the sky clearing. It's already starting to clear out across East Alabama, and tomorrow will be a sunny day. So even though it's going to be cold in the morning, you look at the forecast data, you can see we break into a decent Friday to wrap up the month of October. Afternoon highs. We go from 30s to afternoon temperatures in the 60s. But again, you can see that northwest breeze. When you see these arrows on the map, that's showing you the direction the winds are coming from. So we got a nice little northeast or northwesterly breeze, I should say, out of the northwest there during the afternoon. So that breeze is around low 60s, but a clear sky. And tomorrow evening looks like we cool off into the 40s there by 9 o'clock tomorrow night, but staying dry. But notice this weekend, here comes Saturday, and our high resolution data picking up on clouds and even a chance for some sprinkles or some showers by Saturday night. We see a big upper trough, a lot of wind energy in the atmosphere. It's going to move across the region. So as that happens, where does this spin up a disturbance? Could it happen to the east of Alabama? That possibly could be the case, which would greatly limit the rain chances. And the models are still kind of struggling with that, but still showing the possibility over the weekend of some scattered showers. Not a washout, but this is showing late Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So check in for updates. Again, this could time out perfectly where most of this moves through overnight, but during the days I still think plenty of time. You want to get out to take some fall photos, maybe get an early start on starting to break out some of the holiday decorations put away. So it looks like this weekend mainly dry for Saturday, certainly, and then maybe a few showers early Sunday. But the temperatures this weekend, highs in the 60s. We will warm up next week, though. Looks like highs back in the 70s by the middle of next week. But bundle up for trick-or-treating tomorrow night as those temperatures tumble. And again, some frost possible even tomorrow night for areas to the north. And as we look out in the tropics, we've been talking a lot about Melissa, that system, a Cat 2, and the last advisory was at 4 o'clock. But that system is moving now northeast at 31 miles per hour. So when a system is moving that fast, typically it really struggles to intensify. 10-day forecast again next week. I mentioned some warmer afternoons coming up around Tuesday and Wednesday, highs in the low 70s. So I know we're cold right now, and sometimes around here it seems like we go straight from fall or summer into winter, but we still have some fall to enjoy. Looks like Tania next week's afternoon highs in the 70s, a couple decent days for some work outdoors and just to soak up some sunshine, because I tell you what, it's been gloomy already over the past 24 hours.
Yeah, it really has. These cooler temperatures, hey, I know the runners are not complaining. I heard from a runner myself that those cool mornings are the perfect running conditions, and I'm seeing more of that in the days ahead as we look beyond that 10-day forecast. But for many of us, it's going to be cold heading out the door as we look beyond the 10-day. We've got some really cold mornings, milder afternoons, but yes, some very cold mornings. Take a look at this. This is November the 10th. Some of our models indicating some more 30s across central Alabama and really across the southeast. And look at that, down at the coast, early morning temperatures in the low 40s. Ooh. And then we continue. We're seeing some afternoons. I mentioned those milder afternoons, mid to upper 60s along the coast, low 60s across central Alabama, maybe some upper 50s for the afternoon highs. Looking at 11/11, November the 11th across central Alabama, still seeing some cold conditions there in the 40s, mild afternoon for the 11th in the 60s. And then we're looking at another really cold morning with temperatures back down into the 30s as we approach the 12th and the 13th. So get ready and hold on to the sweaters and the jackets and the coats, because you'll likely need them for the early morning hours and the evenings. A look at our future cast. We're seeing a few chances for showers around the 8th. It looks like a front moves through and maybe another round of some wet weather as we approach November the 12th or so. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But we're not seeing any major washouts ahead of us as we look beyond that 10-day forecast. But I want to send it back to you, Wes. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt joining us now again.
Yeah, and if you're just now joining us, we want to get you up to date and on what's happening with Melissa, the latest when it comes to recovery from Hurricane Melissa. The storm is tied as the most powerful to make landfall in the Atlantic as far as hurricane records, and that's going back all the way to 1851. Michael Yoshida has a look at the damage and recovery efforts happening across multiple countries.
Devastation across Jamaica. Homes destroyed and neighborhoods underwater. Infrastructure left failing after Hurricane Melissa slammed into the country as a powerful Category 5 storm. Whipping winds and unrelenting rain battered the country. The southern and western sides of the island feeling the full force of the hurricane.
The entire infrastructure and everything needed for the convenience of modern living is destroyed.
Caravans of vehicles seen as first responders and others tried to make their way through the aftermath. Officials saying it could take days or weeks to determine the full toll of Melissa.
The supermarkets, the bakery, everything has been washed away.
The Bahamas, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Haiti also impacted by torrential flooding rain and powerful winds. Across the Caribbean, at least 30 people have died as rescue and recovery missions are underway. Emergency crews are also rushing to restore power and begin the cleanup.
The situation here is devastating. We need all in help that we can. And conditions are going to deteriorate as the day progresses.
Several international efforts have launched to aid in the recovery. The United Kingdom, China, and United States announced humanitarian funding and resources will be sent to those affected across the Caribbean.
So keep the positive outlook, keep hope alive, and we will get through this and we will rebuild better.
In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
You're watching WBRC 6 News, Alabama Broadcasters Association's Station of the Year.
Well, out there this evening, we've just been watching these days get shorter and shorter. A little bit of a glow out there, but still kind of breezy and a lot colder.
Oh yeah, we've got that first alert for some frost tomorrow morning. A first alert weather day is in effect. Make sure you cover those sensitive plants, bring those pets in tonight.
That's right. Cover the greens tonight. Looks like the afternoon highs in the 60s, but next week I was really noticing those 70s. I'm like, come on, fall, make a little bit of a comeback here.
I
We're not
know.
ready to go, dive right into January and February.
We really aren't. Well, we do have some pictures to show everyone.
Yeah, love those photos. Nice to see a little sunshine, right? We've been needing a little vitamin D, right?
Absolutely. This is a picture of a sunset in Alexandria after a couple of rainy days. Thanks to Victoria H for sending that one in to us on the First Alert Weather app.
And a very vivid double rainbow taken in Gunnersville. Thanks to Jack Williams for sharing this on the First Alert Weather app.
Gorgeous. Wes, we have another rainbow. Speaking of them, look at this one. Here's a recent rainbow as seen from UAB. Thanks to Karen Harrison for sending that one in.
Love the colors of the rainbow. And why don't we end the viewer picks tonight with this beautiful view from Biloxi. Lovely sunset view. And doesn't that look nice? You know, they had some very active weather, even some tornadoes in that area. Kaylee Doucette sharing that lovely photo on the weather app. But nice to see at least there along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. They've been dealing with some nice improvements here over the past couple days.
Yeah, Wes, and just gorgeous. We appreciate your pictures. Continue to send them in on the First Alert Weather app. And if you're looking for forecast updates, you know where to find us tonight, first at 9.
Yeah, stay warm out there. We'll see you later this evening.